the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun, Mitzion. Today we're learning Pesachim Perek Tet, Mishnayos Beis and Gimel. Mishnah Gimel talks about the difference practically between Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni, if you couldn't come on Pesach Rishon, you bring the car on Pesach and you dalit Iyar, and you presumably have some sort of seder on the night of Ted Vav Iyar, where you eat the car on Pesach. And the Mishnah says you eat it with matzah or even bringing the Karban Pesach, if your dalit Iyar falls on Shabbos, you can check it on Shabbos. Dogen as a Shabbos. Now, the things that are not similar is that you Bal Yirah and Bal Matzah, and having matzah around is okay on Pesach. And you're allowed to have, there's no issur of Bal Yirah, Bal Matzah, of not having chametz around. You can have chametz on the table. Just when you eat the Karban Pesach, you eat it with matzah or merorim. Now, the issur of Bal Yirah, Bal Matzah is not to see chametz, it's not to possess chametz during the regular Pesach, the Nisan, and also. Right? You're not supposed. So, what is the point? Right? We'll give a little svara, right? Logic behind the Torah. The Torah does not allow in Pesach here to have chametz. You can't have it at all. Pesach Sheni, you're allowed to have it around. So, there's two explanations why you shouldn't have chametz on Pesach. One explanation you shouldn't have chametz on Pesach is because the Torah really wants you to eat matzah. Like the Gra says, it's a mitzvah to have matzah all 7 days. So, chametz is usually used as a staple for your meal. Right, bread. You center your meal around bread. The only bread that's available is matzah, so you'll eat more matzah on Pesach. It's just practically you should have more matzah. Not that there's anything wrong with chametz. The second explanation is that there's something inherently wrong with chametz, and it's repulsive. And maybe it's repulsive the whole year, but we can't asur it. You know, it's so ubiquitous. You always have to have bread the whole year. So to asur it, to forbid it the whole year is too much. So 7 days we recognize there's something repulsive about chametz. And if you look actually. The Karban Mincha, a lot of the Karbanos in the Beis HaMikdash, most of them have to be baked matzah, right? There's a couple, like by a Toda and a Nazir, you also have chametz included, but most of it is still matzah. Most of the Karban, the bread and the Karban Minchas that you bring can't be made chametz. They have to be matzah. So Kodesh HaKodashim in the Karbanos have to be matzah. Everything has to be matzah. So you see that something actually is repulsive about chametz. And maybe that's the explanation. That's really the machlokes, I believe. We had earlier the Masechta. Bir chametz, getting rid of the chametz, is that b'sreifa or is it b'chol davar? Rabbi Yehuda says b'sreifa, you got to burn it, right? Usually when you burn a nosar, something that passed its expiration date for eating, you burn it because it's repulsive, because you don't eat food that's past its expiration date. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, the same thing by chametz, you have to burn it. And that's why the minhag of most people is to burn their chametz on Yadalit Nisan, because there's something repulsive about it. And that's the idea of Bal Yirah, Bal Matzah. You separate yourself from chametz on Pesach because it's too hard to separate the entire year, but at least 7 days you separate to show that matzah is better. Now, if you'll tell me that really matzah is just crackers, it's $45 a pound crackers that they have, which you practically have nowadays. No one likes crackers that much, and really does that really fill you up? So I think there's a mistake of the Sfardim, I think, have it right that, basically pitas are really considered matzah. Fakasia bread, you go to fancy restaurants, they'll give you parna bread or the fakasia bread. It's a flat type of bread. It's not, like the challah you eat on Shabbos. That's chametz, right? I'll tell you the truth. I like fakasia bread better than the challah they make on Shabbos. Parna bread, pita bread. Those are types of things which I believe. No, I'm not a rabbi. You shouldn't rely on me lahalacha, but I believe that those are considered really actually matzah as long as it doesn't rise. Those things don't really rise. Challah rises, it doesn't really rise. If it's cooked in less than 18 minutes, it should be okay. Or less than a mill, 24 minutes. Or a mill is not necessarily 22 or 24 or 18 minutes. Depends on other factors also. But mill is just an approximation of something else. The time it takes, everything at the time it takes for the Mishnayos say, the time it takes to become chametz. It doesn't say a mill. Mill is an approximation. That's not really the real share. I would say that from this Mishnah, it's pretty clear. Pesach Sheni, the point is you're making up the eating of the Karban Pesach. Karban Pesach is best to eat, and you're supposed to eat the lamb chops with the matzah. Merorim tastes best like that, maybe with David Campari and your pita bread. But there's no issur of chametz over here, of having chametz around, because only 7 days a year it's possible to say chametz is repulsive. Maybe it's like Rabbi Yehuda. We pass on Rabbi Yehuda. I think the minhag is to pass on Rabbi Yehuda that it's repulsive. Chametz is actually repulsive. It's not just right that you shouldn't have chametz around, you should eat matzah, because we don't really pass on like the Gra that there's a mitzvah to eat matzah every day of Pesach. to eat it. It's not a mitzvah to eat matzah. The first night is considered a mitzvah of matzah. After that, it's not considered a mitzvah of matzah. So, since that's true, so really only the mitzvah is of the first night. And the reason chametz is banned the rest of Pesach is to show it's repulsive. 7 days a year, 8 days a year, we show it's repulsive. That's all we can, possibly practically do. But it's really repulsive the entire year. But we at least practice it for 7 days. But Pesach Sheni is just to make up the Korban Pesach, to enjoy the Korban Pesach. We can't do it. We can't extend the Isser on chametz, and that's why chametz is asur on Pesach is repulsive, and not because to just encourage you to eat more matzah. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you on the next one.